Have you ever wondered about the mysterious pillar of salt? The Bible tells the story of Lot's wife, who turned into a pillar of salt when she looked back at the burning city of Sodom. But what does this truly mean? Why did she face such a fate, and what does it teach us today? This ancient story, though brief, has intrigued believers and skeptics alike for centuries. We know that the Bible is filled with symbols, deep lessons, and practical wisdom. But when we come across a passage like this, it forces us to pause and ask, what was God trying to tell us with this moment in history? I'm sure you've heard of Lot's wife, how she turned into a pillar of salt as her family escaped the fiery destruction of Sodom. But what does this strange transformation really signify? Could it be more than just a supernatural event? What lessons are hidden beneath this unusual tale? Let us dive into the depths of this fascinating Bible passage and uncover the truth behind Lot's wife, the pillar of salt, and the powerful lessons that resonate with us today. In the book of Genesis, we encounter the tragic story of Sodom and Gomorrah. The cities, notorious for their wickedness, had reached a point of no return in their corruption. God, in his righteousness, decided to bring judgment upon them. But before the destruction was to take place, God sent two angels to warn Lot and his family, urging them to flee the city and never look back. Genesis 19 verse 17 tells us, "Flee for your lives. Don't look back, and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains, or you will be swept away." The warning was clear: escape without hesitation. But in the midst of all this, Lot's wife made one fatal decision. As they fled from the city, she looked back. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Genesis 19 verse 26. Why did she look back? What drove her to disobey this clear command? And what was the significance of her transformation into salt? Lot's wife's decision to look back is not just an isolated event. It holds deep spiritual meaning. The Bible doesn't give us many details about her internal state, but we can infer some powerful truths from her action. Looking back was more than just a momentary glance. It was an expression of longing and attachment. She didn't just look back. Her heart was still tethered to the life she was leaving behind. It's easy to see the connection between this moment and our own lives. How often do we struggle with letting go of the past? Whether it's an old relationship, a past failure, or even past successes, we are constantly tempted to look back. Lot's wife's story teaches us a critical lesson about detachment. When Lot's wife looked back, it wasn't just a physical act, it was a symbolic one. She was gazing longingly at the life she was leaving behind, a life filled with familiar comforts, relationships, and perhaps even her own sense of security. This attachment to Sodom represents a deeper spiritual truth, the pull of the world. Think about your own life for a moment. Are there things that you hold on to, things that keep pulling you away from the freedom God offers? Maybe it's an unhealthy relationship, a toxic environment, or a sinful habit that's hard to break. Just like Lot's wife, we can become so attached to the world that we refuse to walk away from it, even when we're called to move forward. The Apostle Paul writes in Philippians 3 verses 13 to 14, "Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it. But one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." Looking back is dangerous because it keeps us rooted in the past. And in our walk with God, we must learn to focus on what lies ahead, not on what we've left behind. Now, let's examine the pillar of salt itself. Why did Lot's wife turn into salt? The Bible doesn't give us an explicit answer, but salt, in biblical times, was a symbol of permanence, preservation, and covenant. In ancient cultures, salt was used as a preservative for food. It kept things from spoiling. It was also a symbol of purity and incorruptibility. In the New Testament, Jesus calls his followers the salt of the earth, Matthew 5, verse 13. Salt was seen as a powerful substance, something that could transform the nature of things. So, why did God allow Lot's wife to turn into a pillar of salt? Perhaps this transformation was a way of showing that once we choose to hold on to the past, we become frozen in it. We are unable to move forward in our spiritual journey. Like salt, we may be preserved in a moment of time, stuck in a past that God has already moved beyond. It's a sobering reminder that God's call to us is always forward, not backward. Looking at the story from a broader perspective, We see that Lot's wife's fate was a direct consequence of disobedience. God had commanded her to flee without looking back, yet her desire to cling to the past led to her tragic downfall. Disobedience, no matter how small the act, can have profound consequences. The Bible tells us in 1 Samuel 15 verse 22, "To obey is better than sacrifice." Lot's wife had the opportunity to follow God's command and be saved, but her disobedience cost her everything. This raises an important question for us. What are we willing to sacrifice in order to obey God? So, what can we take away from Lot's wife and her transformation into a pillar of salt? There are a few key lessons. 1. Detach from the past. Lot's wife's longing for Sodom represents the danger of becoming too attached to the world. We are called to leave behind the things that weigh us down, the things that keep us from moving forward in our faith. 2. Obey God's commands fully. Her disobedience reminds us of the importance of fully trusting and obeying God. God's commands are not arbitrary. They are for our protection and growth. When we obey, we align ourselves with His perfect plan. 3. Keep your eyes on the future. Just as Lot and his family were urged to look forward, we must focus on what God has for us ahead. The past has no power over us unless we allow it to. God's calling is always forward. Now, I want to leave you with a personal challenge. Is there something in your life that you keep looking back to, something that's holding you back from fully embracing God's plan for you? Maybe it's a past regret, a mistake, or a situation that you've never fully let go of. The story of Lot's wife is an invitation for us to leave those things behind and trust God's leading as we walk forward. Before we wrap up, I encourage you to reflect on this. What does it mean for you to move forward in faith without looking back? How can you make that decision today? Thank you for journeying through this incredible story with me. I hope you've gained fresh insight into Lot's wife, the pillar of salt, and the spiritual lessons hidden in her fate. If this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you struggle with letting go of the past? How do you keep your eyes on what lies ahead? Let me know in the comments. If you found value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more Bible discussions like this. There's so much more to explore, and I look forward to diving into more topics that will help us grow in our faith and understanding. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, keep pressing forward.